Hi, Buccaneers. I hope you are well. Look, the season didn't start very well for us, and I think there were a lot of um, instability or uncertainty in the teams where the coach was trying to play new faces a lot, more than the players who were there last season, But as I said many times, everybody was new to the coach, to be fair with him. So, and the other thing that we must consider, the management also, they do communicate with the coaches. And one of the things that might have been communicated is that the coach must use new players as much as he can so that the management can know early that whether these new signings, they are adapting, they are fitting very well into the team, so that they know before the transfer window closes as to whether they need to sign other players and loan out some of the new signings. Those are some of the things that should be considered, because the management and the coaches, they are talking without really dictating terms to the coaches, but to say it's better we know early on whether the new signings, they are adapting, so that before the transfer window closes, we know if we need to go back into the market and loan them out so that they can come better prepared to play for a big club like Orlando Pirates. But then it is in those two games against Marumo Gallants and Sekhukhune United where Orlando Pirates, they have lost the first two games of the season. It was a bit unacceptable because we didn't accept that, we didn't expect that, but it happened, But after that, the coach started to find the balance, especially with the return of Talent Mbata in that midfield to sit with Sitlenduli to bring much more balance, into that midfield. And I think it's what really gave Orlando Pirates a balance where they can start to play, because Nduli, he brought experience, he brought that strong positional sense in front of the back four, and then he allowed Orlando Pirates to have a better rest defense, and that is why Orlando Pirates hasn't considered from the defensive transition, where it was a norm last season that Orlando Pirates, when they got this possession in midfield, they will be open at the back, especially as we know that our fullbacks, they are going up. Dion Hoto, Dino van Rooyen, or Shandu, depending on who's playing on the right, they are going up during the build-ups, leaving two center backs, and a defensive midfielder. But then Sikhanduli's positioning, his intelligence, and his reading of the game has helped Orlando Pirates a lot. And if you look at how Mbata is playing this season, he's a little bit restrained. He's not moving too much forward like he did last season when he's playing with Makaola, because he trusted Makaola, but still, and we considered a lot of goals on transitions because of that. But now Sikhanduli enjoys staying. He's not a player who's dragged by the ball, who loves to play the ball like Yombule as Maswanganye. He likes to play in that position, and he brought stability and technical security in that position, along with Mbata, bringing that physicality with his elegance in that midfield. So that's where the starting point, where Absalom Wadu, he started to get things right. Another point was that at the right back, he went into Bandile Shandu after disappointing performance from the new signing, Tsepo Mashulani, who looked really rattled and overwhelmed in his first games for Orlando Pirates. Then Bandile Shandu, he brought that much needed experience on the right, showing why he was once voted, was a candidate of African Player of the Season based in the continent, if you remember, after helping Orlando Pirates to reach that CAF Confederations Cup final, scoring a couple of goals, very, very good goals, making late runs into the box, Bandile Shandu. Now, he stabilized the right side, and then Sibilibili has also been trusted on that right side, as we've seen twice against Mamelodi Sundowns, and then also we've seen, especially after Dino van Rooyen got injured, and then we have seen also that the Libizo has just came back in the recent game against Chippa United. So Bandile Shandu moving to the right gave Orlando Pirates stability as well, because now you had Mashilwane there, and then in midfield, the midfield was not balanced, because then you would have Tito, you would have Nduli, you would have Maswanganye, Mbule. But then when you Pirates, they are not dominating possession, that's when you have a problem, because Mbule is not known for his defensive qualities. Tito Maswanganye, as much as he can track back and he can press and all those things, when team is not dominating possession, he can get lost a little bit, Tito Maswanganye. That is why even against Orbit College, when Orbit was pressing Pirates high, Pirates couldn't connect passes together. Tito Maswanganye was a scapegoat. People, they realized realized that Tito Masunganye should be taken out. But as soon as Sipombule came in the second half to help Orlando Pirates with his presence as technical security, allow Pirates to keep more of the ball, we saw Tito come into life and even winning man of the match at the end of that game against Orbit College, because now Pirates, they were playing possession football. And that's one of the things that needs to be understood, that if you are going to play Tito, you cannot play on transition, because most of the time you are going to bypass him looking for runners in behind. Now it means Tito in most of the time, because the center backs like Lebone Siyama and Mbokati, they are good at playing those long diagonals looking for Dion Hoto, Osweno Police or Lebole Mufukeng, as well as Sebelebele running in behind the high line. So Tito, in such type of games, you are not going to see much of him, you know, and then that is why sometimes supporters, they get frustrated with him because they don't see much of him inside game. But then, as I said, in that game against Orbit, we saw a completely different Tito in that game. So the introduction of Mbata with Nduli brought balance, and then you left Tito there playing, and then having two inverted wingers supporting Evidence Makgopa up top. And now he started to play the same team regularly in the other games from there. Going to the game against Sundowns, twice against Mamelodi Sundowns, he was keeping more consistency, and then he stuck with that team, you know. And then we've seen the result: 3 wins in a row against Stellenbosch, and that's one game that really so far has impressed me the most. I mean, we beat Chippa 3-0, we beat Orbit College, I think it was 1-0, then we beat Stellis 1-0. But the game that impressed the most is that one of Stellenbosch, and we will be playing Stellenbosch in the final on the after international FIFA break, because it was for the first time Orlando Pirates, they completely dominate Stellenbosch. You know, Steve Barker had no answers for the tactical masterclass of Absalom Wadu. So this is the game that I was really impressed with. Sebelebele scored a cracker of a winner in that game. So it was the only goal of the game. But Orlando Pirates, how they managed to reduce Stellenbosch, who always gave them torrid time, especially in league games. I mean, I was very impressed by Absalom Wadu, and I have even more confidence than before going to play the final in Mbombela against Stellenbosch, because of what I saw in the last game. Because even the likes of Lisiba Nku, Bradley Mojela, my favorite, even Titus, they had no way to run. They had no space to run, because Orlando Pirates, they were really tactically astute. They were really strong tactically. Didn't give them any chance. So Absalom Wadu has done a great job in bringing the balance with the players, some of the players who were there last season, the likes of Shandu Mbata, and I'm saying, and striking the balance, because it's nice to see Mbule playing with Nduli, with Maswanganye. But when Pirates is in the games where they are not dominating possession, the Absalom Wadu adjusted. That is why even against Sundowns, Mbule had to start on the bench, because it's a big game that needs a strong balance defensively and offensively, and he knew when to bring Sipon Mbule, was he brought him, you know. But then the only player that I'm still not sure, especially when teams are pressing Orlando Pirates, is the Malian international, Abdoulaye Mariko. Because Mariko, if you look at that game against Orbit, he looked very unsettled. I mean, the whole team was not playing well, but he looked less having less press resistance compared to all his teammates. But it is in the second half, after he was removed, and then they brought in a player like Mbule there to play with Maswanganye, we saw a completely different Orlando Pirates side. So I'm not sure if he will stay, because his physical profile allows Orlando Pirates to move into the Champions League games with confidence. But I want to see Mariko more imposing himself defensively in the box of Orlando Pirates. So I think the stability was found in bringing in players like Mbata, Bandile, Shandu, and moving Mbule back to the bench, bringing Mbata to sit with Nduli in that midfield. I think that's where Orlando Pirates really came to life under Absalom Wadu. And we can expect the best of this team after the international break, starting with the MTN final, as well as improvement aerially on set pieces. Yeah, the issue of conceding goals in transition, the coach has dealt with it absolutely well. Now what remains is to see Orlando Pirates improving in organization, in defending set pieces going forward. Thank you, Buccaneers. I hope everybody's well. Drop your comment below. I want to hear what you say, and then, as you know, I always reply all your comments below. Thank you for watching this video. Meet in the next video.